Hello, welcome to 50 Shades of Maintenance. This is our April show. We seem to be going to the once a month thing.
Sneaking it under the wire.
Right, it's kind of like our YouTube videos. We were like once a week, then every other week, and then once a month, and then we're going to go occasionally, and then we'll go back to once a week again. So at some point,
Right, with some crisis breakdown, we're having mental breakdowns that we need every week. So
right. So I am Tanya O'Rourke, and this is Phil Olson. Unfortunately, Kirk couldn't be with us tonight. He had already made plans, and we wanted to get our April show in. So he said, he would let us go on
he
without
gave us his
him.
blessing. He said, "Go without me. Go forth."
He wants one of us to act out with answering the questions the way he would, but I don't know if I'm even capable of doing that. Kirk is so awesome, and he always comes up with stuff that's like so off the cuff that it,
Yeah, insight that you weren't expecting. It's like, whoa.
Right. You're like, oh, I didn't even think of that. But
Yeah,
and they always he lightens things up, but then he also has a good deep perspectives too about things. So, and then I missed last time because I was on vacation. And y'all went on without me. So Phil, I guess
it's my turn to take a break.
Yeah, May is your month to take off. No.
Well, see, I might be in the loony bin this next month.
Right. And we're not going to do one from we'll all be together for WLSFA.
Right.
So that's what we have coming up. I think I'll leave. Is it 2 weeks from? 2 weeks from today. Yeah, it's 2 weeks.
Wow, that's kind of wild.
I'm gonna look at the calendar. Everything's kind of snuck up on me with all the timing and everything, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 2 weeks from today, John and I are driving. So we head out. We get there late on Thursday, and then Phil and I are both on a panel on Friday. I actually have a panel in the morning at I want to say it's like 11:15, but it's 11 something on Regain, and then our panel I think is sometime on Friday afternoon. Talking about YouTube support, and I think we're the long-term vet YouTubers, and then there's like another YouTube group for the not still vets, but not as long-term as what we are. So
that's a big panel. I hope we'll probably get to say our names, and that's about it.
I know. I had a little powwow for the Regain session I'm doing, and it was like trying to keep your answers to like 2 sentences because everybody's going to want to say something. I mean, all the guidance that they gave us was like right on point because I'm like, yeah, it's a 45-minute session. You probably only have really 40 minutes to talk. And if you have 5 or 6 people on the panel, if everybody talked for 10 minutes, you're already way over schedule. So, and with doing YouTube videos, we can talk for 10 minutes.
Oh yeah. Easy.
So I thought, well, that was really good guidance to say, try and keep your answer to like a 2-sentence answer. Then everybody will have an opportunity to say something. So it should be a good session. And we want to leave time for people to ask questions too. So,
And time to get to the bar, which is the most important part of the whole.
Right, exactly. Well, my first session's before noon. So
you're safe then.
I will be completely sober.
I make no promises, noon or no noon.
All right, so I'm going to be held accountable if I'm not, but I will guarantee you, I will not. There'll be no mimosas or Bloody Marys on Saturday morning. None.
Yeah, that's the best cure for Friday night, but whatever. Kirk and I found that picture of Kirk and I sitting in inside the restaurant there.
Yeah.
In New Orleans.
Ruby slippers, yeah.
I still remember how bad I felt before I had that. That Bloody Mary. Ooh, that Bloody Mary is the best thing ever. It was my best friend.
Fun times.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, do you know what day the 5Ks? Are there 2 5Ks for WLSFA, or is it just one? I haven't signed up for anything. Somebody asked me about it the other day, and I just had surgery, so I was like, they were asking if I could do it. I could do it walking, but I haven't signed up for anything. So
yeah, no, I don't run, so I have no clue.
Oh, well, I won't be running.
If there's a fight or flight thing, I'll do the fight side. I'm not doing the.
You can walk with me and John if we do.
Walk, I'll be crawling. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, because it's probably at 7:30 in the morning.
So. Oh my God!
This is why I haven't committed to it yet. Like normally I would, but not for a meet and greet. But doing 5Ks and stuff like that is my thing. So it's like I'm torn between knowing myself and doing the 5K. So. Although I've been known to go out and then do something the next day anyway. Like when I did my last half marathon, I didn't realize I had planned the half marathon. I mean, like 8 months before. I knew I was going to do it. And I found out not that long before that one of our school fundraisers was the night before. And it's like their big thing that they do once a year. It's just a fun, like silent auction. They have band and open bar. And I'm like, you are kidding. So I was the designated driver that night. And we stayed out late. In fact, we met somebody and they said,
I don't think the universe wants you to be happy either.
right, exactly. Like, this is my penance, you know. So and Andrea told somebody she's doing a half marathon tomorrow, and it was about midnight, and they were like, bullshit. And I'm like, no, I really am. So I'm like, check my Facebook. I promise you, you will see pictures tomorrow. And I did my half marathon, and I made the time that I wanted. So I'm kind of Wonder Woman. So
I guess so. Crazy sauce.
Well, tonight, Kirk had made a suggestion, even though he wasn't going to be here, about a topic that we should probably talk about. Oh, wait, Christine Robinson just texted me. She said she signed up to do the 5K. It's each morning, Saturday and Sunday, and both of them start at 7 a.m. Okay, so that's something to think about. No, she said it's free to sign up. Oh, and she posted the link on the WLSFA page. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you. So,
Yes.
free and 7 a.m. Okay. All right, I'll think about it. So Kirk, so he said he couldn't be here, but he said he's seen a lot of chatter going on on Facebook, and I guess maybe in some YouTube videos too, about people thinking about backing out of going to WLSFA because they've had regain, or I think Catherine Dadson had posted something on the 50 Shades link that people are afraid that they never got to goal and they're embarrassed and they don't want to be seen. And so he thought that would be something good for us to kind of talk about.
I agree with that. I think that's a good topic because I think it's very much a maintenance thing. It's very much in the maintenance realm. So
Yeah.
I know that we got some questions around that too, but why don't you start with your thoughts and then I'll work on mine and then we'll get to questions.
Well, I'll tell you, with Catherine's point about not getting a goal, I know a lot of people have a number goal or they have certain things in mind, and just know that your goal is your goal and nobody knows what your goal is. So I don't think anybody's going to necessarily judge that you didn't get to goal because people don't even have any concept of what your goal was. So, and of course we put things out on Facebook and on YouTube of what our goals are, but ultimately people really are just care about themselves, I think. And they're not worried about if you didn't lose the last 20 pounds or what have you. That's my thought about not getting to goal. Because my thing when I was losing, my ultimate goal was to get into a normal BMI, and I got there for like a second, and it took me a long time to get to a normal BMI, and I stayed there very briefly, and I bounced back up, and then I realized that being in a normal BMI was not really
Realistic.
it was not realistic for me. So
for anyone, I think. I'm going to be honest. If you're doing a fitness regimen, do not use BMI. There's no way that is you're going to hit that. Or if you do, you're going to be way underweight, way under strength. There's no way I'm going to ever be 178. It's never going to happen unless I lose both my legs.
Right.
It's not happening. So,
and and I've seen multiple doctors. I have my internal medicine doctor. I have my bariatric doctor. I have my rheumatologist from arthritis, and they've all said separately, because I've brought it up, like, well, I'm not really in a normal BMI. And they're like, no, your weight's fine. Oh, my gynecologist, she said the same thing. In fact, with the regain, I'm about 20 pounds up from what my lowest maintained weight was. And when I saw my OB not that long ago, she's like, you're doing great with your weight. I mean, I've been going to her since I'm 15. So she's known me forever. And I said, yeah, I said, but I'm up 20 pounds. I can't seem to get motivated to take it off. And she's like, no, you're fine. I'm telling you right now, you are healthy. You are fine. Don't worry about those 20 pounds. So I have a physician telling me that. So, and not that I'm using that as a justification to not try, but that goes to show you that it's not my medical goal. If I want to lose any more weight, that's a personal thing, not a necessity, not a medical necessity.
I mean, I've got a nutritionist and a doctor saying the same thing. So it's like,
and I agree. If you have
I'm back in obese now, right now. Yeah. I mean, if
I'm
you look at the
probably on the
BMI,
borderline. Yeah. What is
I'm right on the edge. I'm right there, but
is it
still.
30? Is that when
Yeah,
it,
I think it's 30.
okay.
So I think
Then I float like just above and just below,
I
I
do
think.
29 and 30 back and forth. Yeah. So.
That's about, I didn't realize it because I don't ever really look at BMI anymore. But when I went, before I had my surgery and I had to do my pre-op stuff, they, it gets printed out on your whole bio sheet. And it had, I think at that point, my BMI was like 30 point something. So I had just crossed back over. So, but you know, it is
Yeah,
what it is.
I'm gonna go with the same. I think that a goal number is something that you pick back and when you start. When you can't imagine the things that you're gonna be able to do when you even get close.
Right.
As you start to get more into fitness, as you start to get more into healthy living, just out and about, you're gonna find that your muscle mass might go up, and you're not going to get to a number on a scale. Maybe you use a clothing size or something like that as your goal. I mean, I wouldn't say
Right.
it has to be a scale. This kind of goes to a question somebody asked, and we'll have to address it later. But like, it's not a number on a scale per se. It's if you set a scale goal, I did, I hit it, and then I went way below it, and then I went back over it. Like I
Right.
don't feel I'm any less. But the clothing I'm wearing is the same clothing. I mean, literally the same clothing.
Right.
Exactly. So I don't think that anybody should have any shame about the goal piece. Now let's talk a little bit about the regain piece. I know you've talked about that in the past, and I've had my struggles with it too. But again, I'll let
Right.
you start with that one.
Well, I'll tell you, before, I guess it was like in the end of 2015, I was really feeling bad about where I was physically. I felt like I had gained weight. I knew I had gained weight, obviously. But it's funny. I went back and looked at some of the either videos I did or things when I jotted down what my weight was periodically. And over a year ago, I was the same weight that I am now. But at the time, at the end of 2015, I was really struggling with it. And I figured out now why that was. It's because I knew I wasn't doing everything I could to be in the best shape that I had been. And I realized that once I got back on track and I started paying more attention to what I was eating and how much protein I was getting and how many calories and what carbs I was eating, and when I really got back on my track with my exercise and when I got on my new medication and I felt good enough to really work out hard like I used to, everything flipped. And I didn't care about the number as much because I knew I felt so much better mentally because I knew I was working out 3 or 4, 5, 6 sometimes days a week. And I knew I was making better food choices, not always perfect, because like I definitely don't eat like I did even like 9 months out from surgery, but I'm very mindful and I'm aware even when I'm eating crap or when I'm eating really well. And when you're doing the best things for yourself, no matter what the scale says, you feel better mentally because you're trying your hardest. And so um I'm lower than I was in December. I think I was like in the 191, I think was the highest I went up to with my regain. And right now I'm like 185. So it's only a few pounds less, but I feel so much better. And I've done so much more in the last few months with my fitness that mentally I feel much stronger. And I think for me, that has become my goal, not the number, but knowing that I'm doing the best that I can do and still being happy with my lifestyle. So, yeah, I think
Yeah,
the
I
people
think.
who
No,
no,
go
go
ahead.
ahead,
Sorry.
because
No, no.
I
Keep
have
on.
something else to say.
People. Start
Well,
to say the
I
people
was gonna
who.
say that I think the people who struggle with the regain and being seen after having regain, they're not happy with what the effort that they're putting in to control it. They're embarrassed that they feel like they've lost control, and everybody's gonna know it. Well, from this far out, I'm 4.5 years. Phil, are you at 3 years?
Almost 3. Close.
Yeah.
July will be 3. Yeah.
I think we see that cycle. Everybody hits that 2 to 3 year mark and you have some bounce back. That's okay. That's normal. It's okay to have some bounce back. There's very few people out there that I've seen that have not had any bounce back. So don't think you're alone. Don't think that you're the only one who's experienced that. We've all gone through it. And I think people who, and this will probably be a little bit controversial, but people who are less than a year out probably would be judgy about people having bounced back 2 or 3 years out, because at that point you're still in that know-it-all stage and I got it all figured out and I'm never going back. I'm always going to eat like this. And we all go through that stage. They may have something to say, but people who are further out, who know what the struggle of maintenance is, they're not going to judge if you've had some regain. You got to get right in your own head that you're making your best food choices and you're doing your best for fitness. And if you're not, that's where the guilty feelings come from. That's what I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that too, because like, look, my goal was 215 originally. I dropped it to 210. I got to 210. I stayed there. I bounced up a little bit. I bounced down a little bit. I went to Australia. I came back. I was 202, 201, 200 for 5 seconds. And then I'm 223 today, but I'm stronger. So I have technically gained more than 20 pounds back from my lowest. From my goal, 13-ish. But I know for a fact there's shit I can do physically now that I could not do then. I can do pull-ups. I can do 25 pull-ups. No problem. Not maybe in a row, but sets of 5. I can do 5 sets of 5. I can do shit that I could not do before. Just hands down, could never do before. I can do handstands. I can do like just physical things I could not do before. And I have, this might get a little personal. There are people who have seen me in the buff at 202, and there are people who see me in the buff at 223. And their comment was, I think you look better now. Like, I think you look better at this weight. So it's just your body's going to find the weight that's right for you, given what you're trying to do with it. Now, if it's, hey, we all go off the reservation, we all start eating things we shouldn't. I certainly was guilty of that. The whole being over the 225 mark, I was, I think, more stress eating and more me trying to fill a void with that. And I think I talked about this in my personal video. And then as soon as I got a little happy, I accidentally lost 3 pounds. I didn't even try to lose 3 pounds. I stopped weighing. I stopped trying to watch what I was eating. I just ate when I was hungry, and I ate little bits, and I ate whatever I wanted. And when I went out to dinner, I split meals with, the person I'm dating. And we just, I don't know. It wasn't like, it was like a conscious decision. We just did it. We just like, oh, we'll eat a little bit and, whatever. And it just, food didn't become the center of everything. And I was worried about that because like, back in the day when I got really happy and was in a relationship, I just let my mind completely go off of, good eating habits and working out and stuff like that. And that went the other way. So I've been a little more mindful of it, but ultimately it's been a lot easier. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm older and I'm more established in my habits now. You know what I mean? So who knows? So
and you're more aware. I mean, it's even if you're not concentrating on it, it's still in the back of your mind. Where I think when I was younger, because I had the same thing. We've all lost weight ridiculous amount, and then you get distracted with something and it's just not in your mind at all. Like, I know there's times when it was just, I didn't care about my weight. I didn't care if I was gaining weight. I didn't care if I needed bigger sizes, whatever. Now I care. So even if I'm distracted with work or whatever is going on, planning things, it's still somewhere. Even if it's not in the forefront of your mind, it's still somewhere in your mind where probably before it really wasn't.
Yeah, I think it's just being mindful. So I mean, but no, if you know you're screwing up and you're, regardless of why, I got upset and I ate like today. I had something happen that just kind of stressed me out a little bit, and I noticed immediately I wanted to eat, and I went and ate good foods, but I probably ate more than I would have in a normal scenario. But I said, okay, I'm aware that this is why I want to eat. I'm not hungry. I just want to fix this like thing that's bothering me. So I went and had a plate full of like turkey sausage with cheese on it, and that was it. That was all I had. But still, it's like, bull, slow your roll. Like a couple days ago, I would have had, 3 little crackers with some bruschetta and a little bit of meat on top of them, and I'd been full because I was just content and there was nothing stressing me out. So it's just, for me, it's a mental game. So if you're, whatever your reason for overeating, if you are gaining weight for that reason, then try and find the problem, not the symptom. I tried to treat the symptom for the last few weeks, and that didn't work. Yeah. So, just proof of that.
And too with that, I've always felt like if we're people who comfort eat because of stress or whatever, try and have good things in the house that you can pick from. And if you don't have the crap and like you pick protein, then maybe sometimes it's okay to stress eat. Maybe sometimes it's okay to comfort eat. Like if that is part of our coping mechanism, just change your food choice for the comfort eating.
Not a chocolate bar and a box of cookies.
Right. If you can't fight the urge itself, find something else that, we enjoy. Like, I love bacon and eggs. That's like, I'm on a bacon and eggs kick lately. And if I'm going to comfort eat with bacon and eggs, it's better than that than a bag of Reese's Pieces. Like I did my last video, like, yeah, like it's better than that. So maybe it's okay to, if that's part of your coping mechanism.
If you're gonna go off the rails, yeah, control your demon. I guess pick your devil wisely. I mean, I guess it's the, and really it's not that bad. I think about all the things I ate today. I had today being a little different day. I had a yogurt for breakfast. I probably had like 4 Ritz crackers later in the day, and then I ate that sausage with cheese on it because I was stress eating. And I'm like, well, when you add that all up, that's still way lower than like I would normally
probably missed a meal somewhere.
Right. Oh, I didn't have lunch. I didn't have morning snack. I didn't have afternoon snack. I mean, I wasn't having a super active day, so I wasn't working out and stuff. So yeah.
Well, I know it's funny. I was telling John today because since I've been off with this recovery I'm doing, I haven't been eating on my schedule because I'm just off my schedule. And at work, I'm very regimented. I eat breakfast at this time, I eat lunch at that time, I eat my afternoon snack at that time. But I've been eating now just because, like, whenever I'm hungry and I eat whatever is in the refrigerator, and it's always, good stuff. And my weight's been going down since I had surgery. And I think it's because I'm not eating on a schedule, even though when I eat on my schedule, I'm still eating good foods. But one of the things I did to kind of rein myself back in was getting rid of my morning. I used to have first breakfast and second breakfast. I got rid of second breakfast. And, so I'm like, maybe I really need to listen to my body's cues. Like this far out, I'm still learning about what are my cues to eating, and that is the best for me. And so I don't know, maybe I just need to listen to my body's cues more and don't try and eat by a time, eat by a feeling, a physical feeling, not emotional. But
yeah, I think that's where I've been kind of shifting it up to, is like, except for during the weekdays where I know I have to eat before the gym. But after the gym, if I'm like, well, I'm not really feeling hungry, I'm not going to eat my afternoon snack. I'm not going to have my protein. And I just been kind of omitting it. And then when I get home, I'm like, I'll have a little bit for dinner and that's it. I don't know. It's just been weird. It'd be interesting to see how that changes this week. But we'll see how that goes. Phil's doing a little experiment this week. Sanity. So we'll see what happens. But no, it's not. Yeah, it's more just interesting to see how emotional state ties to eating. And I think that was the big thing in my last video. But I mean, okay, so kind of back to the topic though, like you are not going to get judged at WLSFA. If anything, you're going to get more support to get back, and you're going to feel stronger and better and motivated coming out of that with all your people to say, hey, I had that same problem. Here's what I did, or here's what worked for me, or here's one little, if you take one little nugget away, like somebody says something just a certain way, and you take that away from WLSFA with you to get you back to where you want to be, that's a good thing. So I would,
or maybe even find an accountability partner. You'll have a discussion with somebody who's in the same boat as you and say, hey, God, let's team up. And for the next few weeks, just try and get ourselves in check. And, I mean, I've done that multiple times. And sometimes just getting a couple of weeks under your belt where somebody's saying, hey, did you log your food today? How did you do on water? Send me a sweat check. Just to know that somebody cares and they're looking is enough to get you back on track and get you back into the habit. And, they say it takes 3 weeks to form a habit. I think it's probably longer than that, but it'll take 3 weeks to get you in the groove. And if you have somebody to help you get you in the groove, then you can maybe do something on your own, so. But that's something you'll pick up at WLSFA. We're all in the same boat. I don't think there's any one of us out there that would say, I'm perfect. No. I always make great food choices. I don't care who it is in the community. Nobody's going to tell you they make the right food choice 100% of the time. No. Nobody.
Yeah. And this is like, I think it was Melly May. I want to say it was Melly May. Yeah, it was Melly May. They said, I think in her video this week, like, I am never going to be normal. Like, I mean, I can't just live that normal lifestyle. I can never live that normal lifestyle. Like, you want to, because you get to the point, you're like, oh, I did it. I'm thin. I'm happy. I can just be normal. Normal. But you're not. Your metabolism's still what it is. Your eating habits are still what they're. Your demons are still there. Your doubts are still there. Your bad food cravings are still there. Like, I can still eat those things. It's like.
Right. I actually worry about people who think I've had WLS, I lost my weight, and I'm moving on. This isn't part of my life anymore. Nope. I worry about those people more than the people who worry about it, because that's how easy it can slip back out of your mind, and you can gain 50 pounds because
Oh yeah.
you choose, like, I don't need support anymore because I'm finished with this. This part of my life is over with. I'm moving to the next stage of my life. And maybe I'm full of crap. I don't know. But for me, I don't feel like this is ever going to be not part of my life.
I mean,
It's
I'll channel my inner TJ and say that, and he won't say it this way, but like, if you were a normal weight and normal, if you had a normal metabolism before and something just happened that blew you way out, you got way out of control and you gained a bunch of weight, and then you had VSG or WLS and you lost it, and you're back down to your normal self and your muscle mass is back up and you're exercising regularly, you might be able to eat a shit ton more than I ever will. Like there's no doubt in my mind, like, that your metabolism reawakened can handle way more than mine. Mine can handle 1,200 at the most, like 1,200 calories. And really, it's got to be protein centric. So that's just how
I'm
it is.
the same way. I'm in a fitness group that I really, really love. And there's a lot of people in there who can eat a lot more, like mostly protein based, but a lot higher calories. I mean, they're working out regularly, so I can't say that they're not. But even, I mean, I work out regularly. I do real, like, serious, like, I'm like drenched in like 3 layers of clothes, sweat, and I still, at my best, I should probably be eating between 1,200 and 1,500 calories. I can't go up from that. When I go up, I gain, and it just is. That's my fact. But there's other people in the group that are like, I eat 3,300 calories, and I'm like, that's amazing. I wish I was you. But
yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, like, I'm friends with a guy who eats 7,000 calories a day, excuse me, to maintain muscle mass. So I'm like, well, I can never do that. No, I don't think I get them in, number one. Number two, well, they wouldn't be good calories if I could get them in. I would be back up to 360 in no time.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's just not the cards that we were dealt, and it's not because
it's just
we don't have muscle or anything. You know, it's not that. It's just the way that, and everybody's different. And I do get annoyed when people try and make these general statements that, oh, you should be eating more carbs and you should. Maybe you should, you know, but I know my body. I've tested all these waters. It doesn't work for me. I know it works for me. So, and I invite anybody out there to test their own waters and see. Some people, like, because some people can get away with eating more carbs and more calories, but I'm just not one of those people, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it's just knowing your own body and knowing your own limits. I'm like, I know when I'm fucking up. I mean, come on, I know it. Like, if I'm going in and eating, if I'm eating bags of even the little snack chips I get for the kids for their lunches and stuff, I know I'm not supposed to be eating that shit. Like, I know it ain't gonna end well. That's not gonna end well. So,
and that's why I say, like, that's when I got into that bad mental state, because I knew I wasn't doing the right thing. It wasn't really because of the scale, because the scale went up, but it wasn't like horrible. It could have been a lot worse. But I was in a bad state because mentally I knew I wasn't doing the right thing. And I think that's what that whole guilty feeling comes down to. But Christine had texted me too. She said, I'm going to read what she said. She said, I hope nobody is giving up great life experiences because they're unhappy with their weight. I mean, that's, especially if you lost 100 pounds and you didn't lose the last 20, or you gained back that 20. We've lived not having life experiences that we want to have and hiding when we were at our highest. We don't need to do that now. Like, my extra 20 pounds certainly isn't holding me back from anything. Nothing.
No, if anything, I think, that 20 extra pounds, I mean, for me, I know a good portion of it's been muscle. So I know I can do things I couldn't do before. So I don't let it stop me. I mean, if I sit down, I mean, I see the skin and the rolls in here. And if I'm in an intimate situation or something, I'm aware of that fact that my skin looks all fucked up when I'm laying there, but it doesn't, but like, God, compared to like what you looked like before. I mean, I know Lauren talked about this on what was that damn show? Sorry.
Naked Truth.
Naked Truth. God, why can I never remember that? She was very like clear about how, like, hey, I look like a normal person in my clothes, but when I take my clothes off, I don't look like a normal person. I'm aware of that. I'm aware that I don't look like a normal guy, but like, whatever. It's not so horrible that it's, I mean, and at my age, maybe it's a little different because I'm, in my age bracket, most of the women I'm dating have already had kids, and like there's that whole mom body thing and stuff. They're more worried about their body than I am about mine. It's I know everybody's self-conscious, and they're normal people. You're like in great shape, in amazing shape, and they're still freaking out about their body. So it's like whatever.
Everybody's got their own. Yeah. Everybody's got their own crap that they're dealing with. That's what I say. People are more worried about themselves than they are about other people. Really,
and like the way you see you is not how other people see you. That's another thing I've really had to struggle with. Like I don't like the whole thing with my CTO coming out from Cleveland and seeing me and like, oh my God, when are you going to stop losing weight? I stopped losing weight and gained some since you've seen me. You're like, that's how you're like, what are you talking about? Like, so, but, or, just like, again, even if it's, more personal situations, it's not, I don't know. People just don't see you that way. That's not what they noticed about you. That's not what they.
Well, and it's the same thing as when we were at our heaviest. I have so many people say, "I didn't see you as that heavy." When they want to do like before and after pictures, like I don't remember you being that heavy, and I'm like, "That's not even my heaviest." That picture I put up there, and they're like, "Really?" Even family, like people who see me all the time, they're like, "I just never saw you that way." So.
That's true.
We are more critical of ourselves than what other people are. And I want to say too, like if people are contemplating not coming to WLSFA because of being ashamed of regain or not getting to that goal weight, we're having a regain session.
Right.
That's how big a topic this is. Yeah. There's a whole session, and there's multiple people who could have been chosen to be in a panel and we're thinking we're going to have a full house because it's such a big topic. It happens to almost everybody.
It does happen to everybody because the lowest weight you get to is not where you're going to stay. Your body that's not your natural set point. Your body is like, okay, we're at our lowest. We need to do something. And it's going to bounce back some. You're going to get some of it back. Something. But even your surgeon should have told you this. I mean, like, it's just how bad does it go? Like after that initial regain in your new set point, then you have a certain amount of responsibility to kind of keep it in that range. But and
that's kind of how I feel right now. Like when I look back and I saw that over a year ago, I was the same weight that I am now. I'm like, oh, well, okay, well, maybe this is really just my natural place that I'm supposed to be now. Like, and if I can stay here now, awesome, but I tell you what it is too. And I think Lauren may have submitted, I need to read the whole question. She submitted a long thing, question, but I think she touched on this was, accepting that this is where I am now. But when you're in the initial phases of gaining those first 20 pounds, you're like, oh,
here we go.
The end. It's the beginning of the end. I've experienced the first 20 back. Yeah. And I gained 85 pounds. So this is probably just the beginning of the next 100 coming back.
Yeah. How long is it going to take before I'm back? Like, is it going to be a year? Is it going to be a year and a half? Is it going to be 6 months? What is it going to be? Because I'm going back. But how long is it going to take? Yeah.
A long span of time where you maintain the next level before you get a little bit confident that it's not going all the way back up. And I think logically we know there's no way I could eat as much as I ate before. I'm making better food choices than I made before. So there's no way I could get back to the highest weight that I ever was because I'm not doing the same things I was doing back then. But emotionally, those first 20 pounds are like, oh, shit. Oh my God, it's all slipping through my fingers right now. So, and I think probably Phil, you're probably kind of on the tail end of that right now. Cause I think that's about where I was. I remember being just below 3 years out and having that, oh shit feeling. And Chris Waffle had reached out to me and said, Tanya, year 3 is even harder than year 2. And I was like, oh my God. But it like made me realize, but Chris hasn't gained all his weight back and he was further out than I was. So that kind of like settled me down just a little bit. And then, like I said, maintaining for over a year now at where I am now is like, well, okay, I'm more confident that this weight is my weight. But it takes a long time. Like you're not going to just flip a switch and be okay with it. You're just not.
And I think for me, what I've learned, you take learning experiences from everything that comes your way. I mean, that's the big thing. Like right now, I feel I'm very open to learning. Like it kind of comes in waves. Like, so I think I had a learning experience during the weight loss phase, right? So I learned, oh, here's how you lose weight. But then I had this epiphany of after I lost weight to where it was like, oh, this is what I really want out of life. And like this epiphany happens. And then you kind of live with that and just with that. And then you're like, oh, here are the changes I need to make in my life to get to where I want to be. and who's going to survive the ride? Like, that's
Yeah.
kind of scary, right? And so then you go through that for, mine was a little longer than most, but yours happened later, but whatever.
Yeah.
But so, and then you get to, I think, where you're like, oh, and I'm just kind of at that point now where I'm like, oh, look, my emotional state still determines whether I gain or lose weight. Like, that's actually the biggest contributor, plus or minus. Like, how do I, now my challenge is, how do I control that? Like, how do I, now that I'm aware of it, like you have these epiphanies, these oh shit moments where you're like, oh, I get it. And then, okay, now what do I do with that information? I just think that's the trick. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Coming up with a game plan. Yeah.
So
that's for sure. I wanna look at Lauren's question real quick.
Let's say we should probably jump into those.
She had, it was really good. And she's done great. I don't know if you saw today, she posted that she's even at a lower weight than that was her lowest posted weight. So she's done excellent with tackling a little bit of regain that she had and really overcoming, and she's getting ready for plastic. So yeah, she said for me, my biggest fear with the regain was that gaining 20 pounds back meant gaining 130 plus pounds back. And yeah, that's definitely what that initial fear is. Let's see. I know that some people who are more visible in the community feel like it no longer makes them a success story or someone to look up to, which I identify with as well. Just wondering your perspective. So do you feel like having some regain makes you less of a success story than you were at your lowest weight?
Well, at my lowest weight, I was also at my craziest. Like,
yeah.
So that was right before I went pretty hard off the deep end. I mean, there was everything in my life was pretty fucked up at that point. Yeah. So probably not the best role model at my lowest weight. I like did some damage to a lot of people on the way out of that, but you know, all been mended with time. I don't feel any less guilty about it. However, yeah, no, I don't know, because I think by being vulnerable enough to share that the gain scares me, and that here's what I'm doing, even though my fat percentage is down and my weight's up, I'm freaking out. Like, being able to share that craziness that I know does not connect up mentally, like I know, but I don't feel. Those two things don't. I think sharing that, I hope, still helps people have I think it still is it's a vulnerable place to stand on. So I think it does give people like, oh, whew, it's not just me, like yeah,
which is the whole thing with doing YouTube videos. With like you give you're not alone, and you're letting other people know that they're not alone. That's
I remember when Corey started gaining a little bit of weight, his regain, and I remember watching him go through that, and it did terrify me. But watching him handle it, and deal with it, and like process it, did kind of calm me down. So that was a huge thing for me. So I kind of felt like I owed it back. So yeah.
I think for me, I feel like more of a realistic role model than. I think when you're in the beginning and you hit your lowest and you haven't had any regain back, you're kind of put up on a pedestal, like, wow, and it's not realistic. It's not long-term realistic. And it kind of gives people like a false reading of what long-term is going to look like. So now that I've had a little regain, I think I'm a more realistic role model than I was, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. So, and I'm okay with that. I think I'm actually really good with that, because I didn't want people looking at me like, oh, if I could only be like her. Like, no, you be your own person. Because I have people I look at that, it's like, oh, wow, she's done amazing, but I don't look at people anymore and think, oh, gosh, she's done amazing. I wish I could be like her. I look at, wow, she's done amazing. Kudos to her, and
exactly.
I've done my own amazing shit too, and I think that's the confidence that comes with long-term maintaining, is that
you and I, just by nature, I think, are, not that it's easy, but are more open to being vulnerable and showing the not so great sides of it.
Yes,
I think we've done a pretty good job of like, okay, here's what's really going on, and here's how I know I'm being a crazy person, and here's how if other things should not be affecting me in this way, and I know that's not a healthy thing, or even when it's a good thing, like in my case, like I said, like having somebody else find value in me making me like eat better and like not be so stressed out, that bothers me a little bit. Like, no, I should be able to do that on my own. Like, why does that matter? Like, and that's a very shitty thing to have to say out loud, and I know it. Like, but I do it anyway to share that vulnerability, to say, hey, maybe you're struggling with these same problems. You know, maybe not.
No,
maybe
I definitely think in fact, you know, John's told me a few times, like not recently, but like when I was really going through like crazy bits, he's like, you know, you don't have to put all that out there. You know, like you don't have to share every emotion. And I'm like, I know I don't have to, but I know I would have appreciated knowing the shitstorm that was coming by other people talking about it too. So that way I wouldn't feel like I've just completely lost my mind and it has nothing to do with losing weight or anything. I'm just losing my mind.
Right.
So, but I mean, and I don't blame anybody who doesn't feel comfortable putting that kind of stuff out there, because you do open yourself up to a lot of criticism when you do that. So, and if you can't handle it, don't do it, you know. And
well, yeah, and even I think I assume the very worst. I assume people are saying the very worst things about me,
right?
Even if they've never said them, I'm sure they have it. Like a friend of mine was saying, there's three states. There's what you think of you, what you think other people think of you, and what other people actually think of you. And the closer those three things are together, the healthier you are. And I am very aware it's like this. Like I am very aware that even now it is way apart. So yeah.
Well, you know, it's funny. I think I have come like it's closer, and now then I step back and I think maybe I'm delusional, and I think people think this is what they think of me, but that's not really what they think of me.
Right.
but I'm at the point right now, like I don't care.
No, and
I don't care what people think of me. You know, I'm happy living my life and doing my thing, and I think that's probably just an age thing too. You get to a point where you're like, nah, whatever. You like me, fantastic. You don't, that's great too. It's okay. So. I don't know if we had any other questions.
We had two other ones. But
I think we may. Oh, okay,
Catherine
you got
said,
it.
Or fear of. Oh, I think we covered this. Fear of being seen when you never even got the goal. Again, goal was only you knew that goal number. I mean, if you made it public, whatever. I adjusted mine twice. Like, you know, I thought I was going to stop at 1, and I stopped a little lower because it was the right feel for me. It doesn't mean that. I guess if you want to know my real goal was to stay in 34, 32 pants and large shirts. I mean, and to, you know, keep my body fat at a, you know, ideal or athletic level. I mean, that for a man who's 44, that's going to be a trick. I mean, that's a challenge. So I'll do that if I can. And those are my goals. That's my goal now. You'll notice that the only time I get freaked out about the number is when it goes over a certain number. And that's, I know, an irrational thing. Like, oh, I've met all these other metrics that I say are my goal, but then this number's over this number, so I'm going to freak out. It's stupid. So I know. Well,
you know, what's funny too is when I had surgery, if anybody goes back and watches my very first videos, I didn't have any goals. Like before I had surgery and a few weeks after, I had no goals. My goal was to not be on high blood pressure medicine, because that's the only reason why. Sarah Waffle put out that survey this week that she's using for her presentation for WLSFA. And one of the questions was, I think it was something like, what was your goals when you had surgery? And that was, I just wanted to not, or what were the reasons you had surgery? Something like that. I was on 2 blood pressure medicines. Both my grandfathers died of massive heart attacks. My dad has had bypass surgery. I knew I was heading down the heart attack road. And so my goal was to just not have a heart attack. That was my only goal. I didn't have a number goal. I didn't have a size goal. I didn't care about any of that stuff. I just wanted to not have a heart attack and die early. It wasn't until weeks after that I actually put
other
numbers out. Yeah, because I watch other people's videos and I'm like, oh, people have goals. Oh, I guess I should have some goals that I'm working towards with my weight too. Okay, so that's when I put pen to paper and I did that. But ultimately, that was my goal, was just to basically be healthy. Not so. The numbers, I guess that's why, like the size things now, I know what size I like, but it's not like, oh, that was my goal and I have to stay there. That's not, you know, that's not what it is. It never was. It is to be healthy, and I am. I had all my blood work done. My blood pressure is fantastic. In fact, when I had surgery, I actually had a problem because my blood pressure went so low. They couldn't give me any pain meds because my blood pressure was like 90 something over 40 something. It had like seriously dropped. And And I remember I could hear them talking about it, but when you're kind of like half in anesthesia and out, and I thought this would never have happened to me 5 years ago when I was on 2 blood pressure medicines. There's no way my blood pressure would have dipped so low that they couldn't give me anything, So that's like the biggest non-scale victory I could possibly have, is to not have those. Not that I'll never have a heart attack, but I think I've added a lot of years to my life.
Right.
So.
You still monitor. I mean, if it's in your family, it doesn't matter if you're thin or overweight. I mean, it helps.
That is probably how I will die, but it won't be at 50 something. Hopefully it'll be at 80 something,
Right. And you monitor it. So as you go to the doctor a little more often as you get older. So, And Liz was the other one that said, does the goal have to be a scale number? And I think we addressed that too. No, it does not have to be a scale number.
I think once you get into that weight that you feel comfortable with, then you know what your number is or your range is, but it's not a number. It's how you feel, and then the number that goes along with how you feel and the things that you can do, and that's the lifestyle that you enjoy.
Yeah, and what your confidence level's like and things like that. I mean, nothing, there is no, you will not reach your goal, whatever it is, and life suddenly becomes wonderful and easy. You just have least new problems. So that's all you are now. You've leveled up. You've gone to the next level. Okay, now you get to take on all these other problems that you're ill prepared for because you didn't have them before. It's
well, and you know what I had to deal with too was getting through, I went through a little anger stage where it was like, I thought that all of this shit was going to go away. I was going to be able to put this all to the side. Weight wasn't going to be any issues for me, and I can only deal with other types of problems in my life. And then you realize this shit's never going away. Like, weight will never not be an issue. It may not be I'm so far overweight, I feel so depressed because of blah, blah, blah. But it's going to be like, oh, I got to watch what I eat because I know I have this event coming up and I'm going to be eating and drinking at that thing. And it's always going to be an issue. And I definitely went through several months of being irritated by that. I thought this was all over with. And I think everybody kind of has to come to that realization that it's always that's part of maintenance, is coming to that realization that it's always going to be something you're going to think about.
And I think the other thing is, I don't care how much you purge those things out of your life. As far as the doubts and the fears and stuff, when brass tacks come down, they will come back. When a situation happens, you will still fall back to, oh, this is because of, I must be fundamentally broken from being overweight all those years. I must just be fundamentally broken inside or whatever. I'm using that as an example, but you will have those moments where you're like, clearly it wasn't the weight. It was this other stuff. I'm okay, well now I'm thin and I still got these other issues I still got to deal with. They don't just go away. Those demons still haunt, if you will. They still roam the halls. And other people will. I'll kind of throw myself out there in the limelight, out on the limit. But there have been moments where I'm like, oh, she is detecting an old demon. She can smell that there's an old demon laying around here somewhere, and she's seeing the echoes of that, and she's interpreting it as a normie as something else. And I have to go explain it. No, that's not what you think you are perceiving is not that, it's this. And I have to explain it. And it's hard for her to get. I know she doesn't get it completely.
Right.
She believes me, but she doesn't get it. It's well, you shouldn't be like that. You're an amazing man and you're so attractive and blah, blah, blah. That's not, I'm hearing the words, but they aren't sticking up anywhere in my brain. So yeah.
But that's one of the things where we talk about that when you meet somebody who is heavy, that you have that instant connection because you just know, you don't have to explain that. You just know. But that's something that, she would know that, because why would she?
So she assigns it to other things in her life, which that was really interesting. And again, I'm not going to share any secrets for her, but I'm but to watch her process that and then assign it to her own not hangups, but her own life experiences that left her a little bit vulnerable. I was like, wow. I mean, oh, I never had to deal with that. So she has that, and shit. Now I got to try and understand that, so that, because when she sees this, she thinks it's that, and it's not. So it's
you know what?
Still a challenge, So.
I've told John, through going through this whole journey and learning what people's inner demons are. I realized everybody has something. Whether you were heavy or not or whatever, everybody has some shit they've gone through in their life that has defined why they do the things that they do. nobody's immune to it. So I have a little bit more sympathy, I think, because of that, like, or a little bit, I don't know, patience because of it. Because like when somebody's acting out in a way that you don't necessarily agree with, it's probably because they've gone through some shit that we don't have any clue about, and I'm a little bit more forgiving because of it sometimes.
Or if you see somebody going through a struggle that you've already been through, and you're like, oh shit, I know exactly where this person is, and like anybody looking in from the outside would say, you should do X, you shouldn't deal with blah blah blah. But I look at it and I'm like, oh shit, but I was there. I remember what that was like. And I remember it's not that clean cut. It's not that black and white. I mean, I know I would have liked to have had somebody there who was like, look, I can't fix this for you, but I can be here and go through it. Like I can just
and I don't want to be a know-it-all, but I'm gonna tell you this is probably how you're feeling, right?
Right. That's the thing. It's like I want to tell you that at the end of this, here's how you end up. Like I know you think you want X, Y, and Z, and you think you need to do Q, R, and P. But you're going to do all that shit, and then you're going to get really upset with yourself for doing some of those things, and you're going to feel bad about those things, and then you're going to say, oh my God, why did I do that? And then you're going to beat yourself up over it. And then I'm like, and you're going to end up right back here. Right. I'm like, I think you
can't get here without going through that crap. So just suffer through it.
Somebody used was like, oh, well, I want to try, like, I love chocolate ice cream, but maybe I only love chocolate ice cream because I've never tried strawberry or pistachio or whatever. And I'm like, I get that. You want to try bites of every other ice cream to make sure that chocolate's your favorite. Right. The problem is what's going to happen is you're going to try some of those and some of them are going to make you throw up or going to make you like disgusted with yourself for even trying them. And then and then you're going to come back to chocolate and going, Jesus, why did I do that? All I really wanted was sprinkles.
I always love chocolate.
I just wanted sprinkles and chocolate sauce. That's all I like chocolate. I just need a little bit of sprinkles and chocolate sauce on top. It's a good analogy for
that. Is a good analogy. I like that. That's funny.
Her analogy, so I'll give her credit. But yeah,
that's funny. I never thought of it.
I thought it was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can't tell her, don't try pistachio, don't try strawberry, don't try.
No, because you're not going to listen.
You got to go try it. Go ahead, try it. This is what's going to happen, but I can't tell you that. Like, just go ahead, do it.
Because nobody could tell us either.
No, exactly. Yeah.
So we know.
Yeah. There's many flavors of Phil that I wish I had not tried.
50 flavors of Phil.
And there was flavors of Phil that I'm like, oh, okay, those things are okay. And like, well, they're not my favorite, but they're okay. I still could incorporate some of those things. I don't know. Just my 2 cents.
Well, since we have no chat, we probably have no.
I was looking on the actual video, and nobody's commented at all. So,
well, can they comment again? I thought that was the thing.
No, oh yeah, you weren't here last time.
Oh, I missed.
Now it's back. So
what we have, like one viewer?
No, yeah, 14 viewers. So.
14. Oh, we're in the teens. Oh, wow, that's way 15, better than I thought.
15 now. So
I kind of felt bad that we just kind of announced yesterday, like.
We did kind of decide late, but
oh yeah, and we had talked about it at the end of last month, like, oh, we're gonna do it. This, but it's just been a crazy month. Yeah, it's been What we should do is plan now with us, our schedule, and Kirk, when we're going to do the May one. I mean, because we know we're not going to do it when we're at WLSFA. We should do like a wrap up, like either the second to last week or the last week of May, like a recap of how WLSFA highlights or anything.
Yeah, I think that's
that came up from them. Yeah,
the feels show, because it's coming.
There's always a bit of a depression for the 7 days. Like, I don't think we should commit to a show within the week after WLSFA.
Ooh, bad idea.
That's always like, wah, wah,
the 19th would be a bad night. I think the 26th is probably it's the last Thursday of the month, but
I think that's perfect. I think that's when we should probably do it. I think that's good.
Sounds good to me.
My kids will be finished school, and it'll be good. That's a good week.
Cool. I'm down with it. We just got Kirk on board, so it sounds good.
I'm putting it on my calendar, and I'm going to tell Kirk as his personal secretary, I'm putting it on his calendar.
Pencil it in for Kirk. Ship it. I'll put it on mine right now, too. Here we go. 50 SM. There we go.
Cool.
Well, I guess, wow, we're going to keep it to an hour. I was
going to say, we're going to end like right in an hour. This is amazing. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, for the 14, 15 people who watched, thank you very much.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, hopefully some people watch the replay and get something out of it too. Leave your thoughts below in the comments, and like and subscribe if you don't already.
Yep.
So yeah, we would appreciate that. And any parting words before we go?
No, so hopefully we'll see everybody at WLSFA. Don't be afraid to come up and say hello. We're super friendly, right, Phil? Especially after we've had a couple of cocktails.
Give us a couple of drinks if you're listening.
But we're happy to talk to anybody. We talk to anybody because we're talkers.
Yeah,
so,
I don't want to hear any of this clicky bullshit stories after the fact either. If you see us in a group and we're having fun, it's your friggin' responsibility to come introduce yourself. We're not going to come find you. So
absolutely.
But we'll gladly have you sit down and have a drink with us after as soon as you introduce yourself. So
yes,
don't feel like you're on the outside. So
yeah, that's it. So
all right, well, guys,
thanks. See you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we'll see you guys. I'll see you, a lot of you in a couple of weeks. But I'll definitely see Tanya and Kirk. And then we'll get back to you guys at the end of next month. But until then, don't define your world in black and white because there's so much hiding amongst the gray.